The E39, like any luxury chassis, is going to have a bunch of great little special features you don't find on average cars. So today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite features on the E39 that make your life easier every day. For our number one feature, I'm going to start off with my favorite feature of this car. It's not even close. This is the thing I remember the most from the first time I had an E39, is when you put it into reverse, the passenger side mirror automatically angles down so you can see exactly what's on the other side of a car. It really helps you backing in. So I'm going to put the car into reverse, and the passenger mirror tilts down. It makes it so easy to back into spaces. You can see the lines, you can see everything on that side of a car, and then when you put it back into drive, it tilts right back up. And if you do not want it to do that feature, if you put the little mirror adjuster over onto the right side for the passenger side, it will no longer adjust the mirror up and down automatically. So if you're worried about the motor breaking or getting wear and tear, or if it is broken and you want to stop it from hurting itself worse, that's how you stop that. The next two features involve your key. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate either one for you because the receiver on the car is no longer working properly. The key is perfectly fine, but the car is not. But if you press and hold the unlock button on your car as you're approaching it, it will roll the windows down. And if you hold the lock button, it will roll them back up. Now, one problem for E39s, as you know, is most of the window regulators will go bad eventually. So if you don't stay on top of those, it rolls down every single window. So if you have one that's broken, you can't use this. It also opens the sunroof, so just beware of that. The other feature of the key is if you lock the car with the center button or using the little lock on the side of the door, no matter what happens, nothing else can unlock the car. So if you break the window out and push the unlock button, it will not unlock the car. There's nothing you can do to get the car to unlock except for with the key unlocking it again. So you can feel safe putting things in your car, especially in the trunk. No matter what, you will not get that trunk open unless you cut it open with a saw. You cannot get into it. Number 4 involves a mass airflow sensor, which is located right here in the engine bay. As I've mentioned before, the car can operate temporarily without the mass airflow sensor. If you think your mass airflow sensor is broken, you simply disconnect it while the car is not running, and then you can start the car and it will go to a base map and use the oxygen sensors in the exhaust, and that's what's going to calculate how much fuel the car needs. So it's a good way of diagnosing a bad mass airflow sensor, and if one goes bad while you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can just unhook it and you'll get home so you can go replace it in a safer area. Another excellent feature on the E39 is that all E39s have brake ducts from the factory. Center right here in the grille, and you can see that opening back there, that is your wheel well. The only E39 that does not have these is the M5, which makes no sense to me, but those are blocked off in the M5, so the ducts are still there. So oftentimes M5 owners will cut a hole in the grille and that'll have access to that brake duct. And if we look on the passenger side of a car, you can see where the brake duct exits into the wheel well. The next two features will focus on the wipers. The first being that the wipers actually have two wipers. So there is a blade here on the front, and then there's a second blade on the back. So the second blade is the normal blade for most cars, and then you have a front blade that helps get every last bit of water out of the way to make the car as safe as possible in the rain. To add to this, there is also a rain sensor on the car that detects the amount of rain that the car is in and increases the wiper speed accordingly. In my opinion, it's a little bit overzealous and increases the wiper speed too much, and unfortunately that feature cannot be deactivated. And my number 8 feature on the E39 is this wonderful coin holder in the driver's side door. As you can see, it has places for quarters, nickels, and dimes. It keeps them all very organized, and you can hold actually a pretty good number of coins in each slot, especially dimes because they're so thin. I'm sure this is slightly different in each country because different coins are different sizes, but it's a much more elegant way of keeping all the coins in your car organized instead of just storing them in the ashtray. And for our second to last feature, we'll look into the glove box, and we see a BMW flashlight. It has its own charging port in the glove box, so you never have to worry about the batteries running out. It's not the best flashlight in the world, but it is useful to always have one with you. You can look for things underneath the seats, check things in the engine bay. Anytime you need a flashlight, it's good to always have it on hand. And the last special feature comes from the ignition. So normally on a car, when you want to start it, you have to turn it, hold it up into the ignition point, and then you pull it back once the engine catches. On the E39, you don't have to do that. You just have to turn it forward and just hit the ignition one time, and it will continue turning, automatically detect when the engine is started, and then cut the starter. So let's see if you can tell. So I'm all the way up, and then, so see, it did it for me. It's a small feature, but it is nice actually. And there you have it, guys. 10 amazing features on the E39 that are so small but make such a big difference. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to add some of your own features, of course, drop those below. Hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next week.